Good morning. This is Kiersten with Fox Pointe Publishing again. We are coming to you with the Saturday morning edition that we do one time on the last Saturday of each month, and that would be today. So that's why we're here. Okay, this is that fun part where we guys, where I'm not quite awake yet, put it that way. We're going to talk some book stuff. We have authors, publicists, editors on here, illustrator. There goes my voice. And we get to talk about some of the stuff that we're doing here at Fox Pointe, and then you can ask us questions because that's the only way we know that you exist out there. And that'll earn you a chance to win books. And today I'm giving away 2 of the paperbacks of Walk Lightly. Yay. Because this just came out with Kim Hanzo, well, on my screen, she's right there. But she's going to tell us about that, and she's going to I'm going to ask her about what she's doing later today. Very exciting. But all right, so we're going to first get going with introducing everyone on the screen, and then we'll do a little talking, and then you ask some questions, and we'll probably do some more talking. It'll be great. The first one on here is Helen Holder. She put out 6 books between July through January of last year-ish. And if you want to hold those up, Helen. Yeah, so we have An Unusual Tale that came out last August. And we have Sleepover with Grandma that came out November, December. Gloria Skirty's Fabulous Fireworks that came out in September. 6 books is a lot. David's Pretzels came out the end of June. Last year, Terrific Tongues was December. And there's one more, Flamingo. I painted a magenta flamingo, which I think is a beautiful book. It just really is. And that came out like last September too. So yeah, and she is working on, as I hear it, 1, 2, or possibly, the sequel to Unusual Tale.
This is what I'm working on. Last night I woke up and realized, oops, I changed point of view halfway through what I've already written.
So
go back and rewrite a little.
So she's got for sure 1 book coming out this year. Might see a second one at the tail end or into early 2022, but I know she's got more things. She set the bar high for herself, 6 books out the gate, and then she's like, okay. All right, the next one over to this side of me is AJ Sullivan. She writes the Bobby Bear series. So she's got the one in the back there, the light blue, that's Bobby Bear Goes Fishing. That came out last June-ish. Bobby Bear Becomes a Big Brother came out just this past February. And then she's got Finkel and Franny. That came out, when did that come out? October of last year. Yeah. And the third of the Bobby Bear series, Bobby Bear Graduates from Kindergarten, comes out about May-ish, June, early June, somewhere in there. And you're right now writing the 4th Bobby Bear, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah. Yep. And then she's also writing a YA series about young women, girls, teenagers who do STEM.
Right. They're 6th graders at the very beginning. Yeah.
Okay. And so she's got all that going on. All right. The one underneath AJ, at least on my screen here, is Carmen Tribbett. She does the Monster Dog series. And so, yeah, she's got, is that the Big Attitude? No, that's Lessons Learned. That's her most recent one that came out, last November, I want to say. She's got Big Attitude, A Small Dog with a Big Attitude. She's got A Small Dog, yep, there we go. A Small Dog with a Big Heart Learns About Alzheimer's Disease, and that's that one right there. She's got Tossie's Diary of Secrets that came out actually a year ago yesterday. Yep, that one. And then the Monster Dog Life's Lessons Learned, which she held up first there. And she is working on the 5th in that series, and she is also working on a nonfiction caretaker's book for what to expect when your loved one is diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease. So that is that. And then right underneath me on my screen is Chelsea Farr. She is kind of the queen of everything around here. She is an editor and she does a lot of things. She does a lot of editing, put it that way. And make sure she's kind of like the master squirrel herder around here. The master herder of squirrels. I was really thinking I'd get a business card that would say master herder of squirrels, because not that you guys are squirrel. Okay, never mind.
It's okay, it's all right.
We know who the squirrel is, right?
Oh yeah, squirrel and runway, yeah. All right, so that's her. And then Kim here, she is the one who has all sorts of good news and new books out. And oh my gosh, she's putting out 6. Well, she's probably going to put out more, but I know she's doing 6 in this World of Difference series. The first one came out in February. The second one came out in March. And the third one comes out in May, the fourth one comes out in June, the fifth one comes out in August, and the sixth one comes out in September. Plus, yeah, plus she does not all the illustrating, half the illustrating for our authors. And then she's working, you've got a 5-book series, another 5-book series that, yeah. This woman is busy. And so she's gonna do something fun today. And then myself, I'm an author, I'm a master squirrel herder, and I'm the instigator.
You are the squirrel.
I am the squirrel. Excuse me. Then I am the instigator for all these Facebook lives and Instagram lives that we do, and I'm sure they all enjoy it immensely. Look at their happy faces. They look excited, don't they? Anyway. All right, so we're going to get started here. What you need to do is ask us a question that'll, 1, let us know that you exist out there, and 2, earn you a chance to win one of the 2 paperbacks of Walk Lightly, World of Difference Walk Lightly. But first, we're going to get started with Kim. Do you want to tell us about your books, your series, and what you're doing today?
Yeah, so World of Difference, if you haven't already heard my spiel, came from a piece of artwork that I had done a while ago that was called Make a World of Difference. And it just kind of had these 6 broad topics along with animals. I didn't bring it with me today, but and I knew I wanted to expand on it. I didn't know how or when. And then as I kind of got into illustrating books this year and then subsequently authoring books, I thought, well, that's the perfect first crack at doing this. So Stand Together is the first one. And these, you've got 5 roly-poly penguins that you just go through page by page, and you see them kind of tackle different challenges that they face individually, and then they realize that when they work together or help each other, that it makes a world of difference. And then Walk Lightly is about caring for the earth, so this is perfect for Earth Day. We have this jaguar, get him on the screen, this jaguar that walks through the South African rainforest, and he observes different critters that live there, maybe misbehaving or not, maybe caring for the earth as well as they could, and then they learn and they change their behavior. And so it's really kind of different ways that we can care for the earth. There we go.
There we go.
So in that one, you've got that toucan who's kind of hogging this big tree. He really doesn't need the whole thing. And then on the next page,
hold on here.
Sharing is caring, right? So now they're all happier and they all share the tree. So it's the kind of idea of reducing and reusing. But there's different scenarios like that throughout the whole book. And then afterwards, the next book up is Give Freely, which takes place in Africa, and it's sort of a pay it forward idea. And we're going to see different animals from the savannah learn how that they can impact each other by giving of themselves, their time, their help, and different things. So, and then after that, there is Live Gently, Care Deeply, and Love One Another.
There you go. And by the excuse me, by the time the end of September rolls around and the last one comes out, I will put a plug in for anyone. This is the 3 to 7 year old crowd. Buy all 6 books as a holiday present. Yeah, I mean, they are beautiful. Those are beautiful books. Yes. All right. We don't have any questions right now. So who am I going to put? Oh, what are you doing later today?
Oh, yes. So right after this, I'm running out the door and I'm going to the local Hallmark store where I'm going to have my very first book signing. And if you're in the Charlotte area, it is in the Promenade, the Amy's Hallmark there. It's the corner of Valentine Commons and Providence. And I'm also debuting 2 brand new prints. So if you want to be the first to see them, you need to show up.
All right, so Charlotte, North Carolina, if you're in the neighborhood, I will say, you're the only one in Charlotte, North Carolina. The rest of us are all Austin, Minnesota on here.
So you're not coming? Is that what you're saying?
No, we're sorry. We can't. I could call the store and bother you. It'll be fine.
I have grandchildren in North Carolina, so
You do? Okay.
Statesboro.
Oh, that's where I lived before I moved to Charlotte.
All right, I've got a question from Celine. She asks, what age child is this book geared toward? It is 3 to 7 years old. And Celine, if you live, does anyone know Celine Schultz?
I do.
Okay, Celine, if you live in Austin, for whatever reason, I think you live in Austin, but maybe you don't. If you do, Sweet Reads has both the books right now in stock. So, and if you don't live in Austin, well, then never mind. You can find it on, for the people who don't either live in Charlotte or Austin, you can find it at foxpointepublishing.com, and that's FOXPOINTE publishing.com. Click on shop now and you'll see all the books, and you can also pre-order Give Freely, which comes out the end of May. And then you can right now find Stand Together on Amazon, and by the end of today you will be able to find Walk Lightly on Amazon as well. Okay, so who's the next person I can pick on? Carmen. I'm going to pick on Carmen. Carmen, I'm going to tell everyone in the world what yesterday was, but we're not going to tell them what your email is, so they can't email you. Okay. Excuse me. I am so sorry for my voice. Carmen's birthday was yesterday. So happy birthday to Carmen. And I hope she had I hope she had a wonderful day.
Happy birthday.
Exactly.
We can tell them how old I am. I'm 89 now.
Okay, well, I was going to leave that up to you. Yes, Carmen turned 89 yesterday. She is our oldest author, and she is actually working on her 5th book, actually her 5th and 6th books. Carmen, do you want to tell us about your books?
Yes, my books are narrated by the dog, Tassie. And the first book I wrote was right after my husband died from Alzheimer's, and I was home with this little dog, and she's funnier than heck. So I kept posting all the funny little things she did, and it became this book. And 4-year-olds especially love the first book, A Small Dog with a Big Attitude. I've got grandparents who tell me that the children hit the door and they want this book read to them. Both grandma and grandpa have told me that, so that's kind of fun. Since I was both a nurse and an elementary teacher among my other careers, I always have some stories that are for discussion with the children about particular problems they might have or things they need to do. And so they're always teachable, and they're almost always a bedtime story. And so she almost always gets tucked into bed at night. And on that occasion, she said, she's been known to say that, repeat what I say, which is, good night, sleep well, my love, my sweet love. And so in one of the books, she ends it by saying that to me. And so anyway, Tassie's now 14 and a half. And so she's still narrating books. And her latest book, the one we're writing on now, and that Katie's trying to illustrate, I have this wonderful illustrator, Katie Hennerdos, who's half of the books. And Katie is starting to illustrate the 5th book, which is going to be What Shall I Be When I Grow Up? And it's kind of funny. My kids are going to like it. And actually, some adults like it too, and I read parts of it to them. So, but my main book is this one, the Alzheimer's book, because this is my main purpose in life, is to tell people about Alzheimer's. And I am starting again in April to go around town and give discussions about it, lead discussions.
Oh, good.
April 14th through 8th, I can't remember now. 8th, I think. So I hope they'll be helpful to people. And this one especially for children, because when we were at the nursing home, I could see the children were, including my own grandson, were really perplexed with seeing the person who didn't remember them or respond very well. So this is the heart of my heart right there. So that's my spiel, that's my story.
Do you want to hold up your books a little in front of the camera? There you go. All right, so that's the Alzheimer's one. And
This was the first one.
yep, that's Big Attitude.
This is my favorite.
That's Tossie's Diary of Secrets.
She's very naughty. I never catch her. And this is the last one, Life Lessons Learned.
Yep, Life's Lessons Learned. And so for anyone in Austin, Minnesota, again, all of her books are available at Sweet Reads Books. And you can also find them on our website, foxpointepublishing.com, under Shop Now. They are all in stock, and you can find them on Amazon as well. And okay, so for anyone just joining us right now, what you need to do is ask us a question. I am an author publicist. Chelsea is an editor, and one of these days an author. AJ is an author. Helen is an author. Kim is an illustrator and author, and Carmen is also an author. So ask us a question, or at the very least, say happy belated birthday to Carmen. There you go. All right, AJ, do you want to tell us what you're up to?
Sure. My first book was Bobby Bear Goes Fishing. He's turns 5 and he decides it's time to go fishing. The second one is Bobby Bear Becomes a Big Brother. I've actually had a number of grandparents buy this when their first grandchild becomes an older sibling. And they love it because it talks about the way they feel about a new baby being there and what is their responsibility. And, you know, some of them get very nervous, but that's what this book is about. The third one is Bobby Bear Graduates Kindergarten and will be out in June. And that talks about how kindergarten is all fun and games, and then first grade gets serious and the chairs get bigger. So they talk about that. Finkel and Franny is a book based on something that happened in real life. 2 flies got into our car and traveled with us. And it's their story and how far they went and what they saw and how we dealt with the flies. So that's Finkel and Franny. And I'm working on a new series called Sunny with Freckles. Sunny is a 6th grade girl, and 2 of her friends, at least it starts with 2 of her friends, do STEM projects just for fun because they are quite intrigued by the science. And Sunny's little sister gets in the way, but then eventually we'll start working with them. So that's Sunny with Freckles.
Okay. And all right, so then we'll go over to Helen. Helen, do you want to tell us about your books?
Well, most of these I'd written a long time ago, so it's not like they got published last year, but they were old books. And I had been trying to find a place to self-publish David's Pretzels, for which I drew the pictures. So I had pictures and the idea, and was having a lot of trouble because I think some of them are better now, but when I first started trying to do that, there were a lot of the self-publishing things that just weren't very good for children's picture books. So I was kind of, okay, what can I print them off? You know, just for my family and my printer. And it was when I saw Carmen's books and I thought, Fox Pointe, that's like right here in Austin, isn't it? And so I contacted Kiersten, and right before everything shut down, we had lunch at Perkins, and I gave him David's Pretzels. And then I said, well, I have these other manuscripts too. Do you want to look at those? And they said, oh, sure, we'll take them all. So they did.
Yep, we did.
And there we go. It was off to the races. Like, oh my goodness, I didn't know there was so much involved. But I'm very thankful for having editors and illustrators and designers all right there. Really worked out well.
Well, and I will also add, Helen has groupies in town. She used to teach first grade for what, 33 years?
Right.
Okay, so all of her first graders from 33 years ago and et cetera, all are parents now who have children. And so anytime a book comes out from Helen Holder, there is a lot of chatter on Facebook and et cetera. When is her book going to be over at Sweet Reads, our local bookstore? Because yeah, all of her past students are running in and getting for their kids. All right, we have a question here. Question for AJ, what inspired Sunny with Freckles?
Well, I worked in STEM for 28 years at Phillips Lighting, and my father, while he didn't have a degree, he was an aerospace engineer and helped to develop the rockets before Apollo. And so between those two things and working now in a high school, I think it's really important that girls know that working in STEM and being interested in science is perfectly fine and a great career.
As a matter of fact, Carmen, don't you have a degree in biology or chemistry?
I'm a nurse.
Well, there you go. That's part of it.
Yeah, that's still science.
Yeah.
A lot of science, right?
And
Mhm.
as a matter of fact, our local community college, Carmen, do you want to tell them what you did for the nursing program?
Yes, I combined my two loves and I taught lab skills for 14 years at what is now Riverland, and I started the lab.
Yep, she helped put the nursing lab together at our
I
local
did
community
not know
college.
this.
Yeah.
I also worked at St. Olaf for about a year at night as a nurse. So it was exciting.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So, and then a question for Helen. What are you working on now?
Well, I ended an unusual tale with that the prince and the princess and the knight lived happily ever after, but that's a story for another night. So I guess another night is coming fast. Well, that's what I'm writing on now, and I'm well into it, except last night I woke up and thought, wait a minute, I just changed the point of view halfway through what I've written. So I go back and rework a little bit.
Okay. All right. And then I have a question for Kim. Kim, do you have groupies now in Charlotte?
I guess you could call them that. I mean, obviously friends and family. I don't know if you can count those, but yeah, I have. The Hallmark that I'm going to has consigned my work outside of books for several years now, and so yes, people will go there looking for my pieces. So that's part of why we set this up today.
Yeah.
I haven't been there in a while. I've done some events there before, but obviously with COVID and everything, that was kind of put on hold. So this is the first time in over a year that I get to meet face to face with a bunch of them. Yeah.
Oh, this is so exciting. I'm so happy that you're doing that. I
Me
think
too.
you're going to have an overwhelmingly positive response.
I hope so.
How many books are you bringing of each title?
Oh, gracious. I didn't count them, Kiersten. I grabbed them all and packed them up in the car.
Okay.
So worst case scenario, if they sell out, that's a great problem to have. And I'll just take orders for the next round of printing.
Exactly. That's the best way to do it. Matter of fact, realizing that we're getting closer, hopefully, fingers crossed, to the world opening. And with Kim's little trip today to the Hallmark store, yeah, today I'll be putting out an email to everyone about how to do booth setups for people who have not done booth setups. So yeah, I'm gonna, Kim and Jason and a number of us have done booth setups. So one more thing I'm doing today, but okay, let's see if we have any questions out there in the world. Oops, no, we don't. Okay, so now we get to listen to me talk. Let's see, what am I working on? I've got, I'm the author of the I Do humorous memoir, The Corner Confessions series, which, yes, I have to do one more book and that series will be done. I have the Jelly Beans book, and hopefully in a few months here, myself and Chelsea will finish up the Jelly Beans coloring and activity book, because Jelly Beans is coming up on its 2-year book birthday in June. So again, fingers crossed. I also put out the Blue Frog last September, and I've got another book called Scout coming out here in June as well. And it was just illustrated by Kayla, and still needs to be put together and printed. And I have a book about an octopus coming out somewhere like in November. Way back when I used to have a pet octopus named Ollie. So much like Carmen's dog, Tossie, and all the funny things she does, Ollie was not that everyone should go out and run out and get an octopus, because it's a lot of work, but it is a fascinating creature and incredible eyesight, strong, curious. They learn quick. So I'm going to write a book about that. Well, I've already written a book. It's being illustrated, but okay. Celine asks, is Sunny with Freckles available now? Nope. Matter of fact, AJ, when do you think Sunny with Freckles will?
It'll probably go for illustrating, and the illustrator hasn't been pinned down yet. So we're probably looking at the end of April for finishing the manuscript. Then it has to go to editing and then to illustration. But the illustration, because it's a YA book, there isn't as much illustration as there is in my younger children's books.
Okay. It'll be something similar to Finkel and Franny.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe a little, well, about the same age range, I guess.
Okay.
Well, actually a little older.
A little older?
Yeah, the experiments that they do, the little projects they do will be for 6th to 8th grade.
Okay. All right, just so everyone knows out there, it is coming up on 10:30 and we have to be out of here in 10 minutes because Kim has got to turn her camera off and run out of her house as fast as possible and not forget her phone or her books and drive like a mad woman over to Amy's Hallmark in Charlotte, North Carolina, so she can have her first. Can you tell I'm excited for you? Oh my
Yes,
gosh,
thank
when
you.
you're done, you're gonna have to text me and tell me everything.
Yes. Do you want me to FaceTime you during the whole thing? Like you can be there with me?
Yeah, I can
Okay.
vicariously live through your stories.
Mhm.
Matter of fact,
Okay.
Raven Ekman, who is one of our editors, who also put out her book, Shadow Speak here about a month ago, did her first presentation at her high school alma mater. And she's like, okay, I did this. And she had pictures taken and all that good stuff. And as soon as I could, I was on the phone with her immediately. I'm like, start from the beginning. You walked into the school, then what? I'm all excited for everyone. And I can't wait to get going on it myself again. Yeah, a year off from not doing presentations is weird. I'll put it that way. Okay, Chelsea, do you want to tell us what you're working on without giving too much away and no titles or whatever you want to say?
Yeah, sure. So I'm working on a fantasy series, and I have not started writing yet. I'm just planning because I have a lot of world building that I want to do first. It's going to be very involved, but I'm looking forward to starting writing. And actually yesterday, I decided with my friend that we were going to do a writing challenge this year, where every week we would have to write so many pages and have the other person read it. So kind of just get the process started and hold each other accountable. Kind of, like a weight loss challenge, except writing, and I could probably do the weight loss challenge too, but I guess I would recommend it. If you want to start writing, maybe have a friend help you hold yourself accountable. Yeah.
And what projects are you editing right now? What types of projects?
I'm probably going to be starting editing Jason's second book soon. So that's the Alchemist series. I'm going to be starting on Carmen's memoir here in mid-May. I'm editing a craft book. There's a lot. There's a lot.
She does a lot of stuff. And then, of course, I'm going to be on the phone with her probably later today. Like, we have really got to get finishing this jelly bean coloring and activity book, because it was supposed to come out last year. Then it was going to come out around Christmas, and then it was going to, anywho. My projects tend to get bumped. That is okay, because I want to make sure everyone else's stuff gets out as well. Chelsea has a question for Carmen. Back before COVID started, did you have fun doing presentations and book events?
Yes, I'm never nervous in front of a group, and so it was great fun.
Well, you're a good speaker.
Well, thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I took Carmen with me to a library event, February of 2020, and she's a very soft-spoken person, but when she gets in front of a crowd, you're a very good speaker.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I think it's the teacher experience, probably.
I think so.
Well, weren't all of your students like they were always really careful to behave in your class because like?
No, I had very difficult classes. I taught in a difficult part of town, but I learned to speak even softer, and so I'd respond quietly, more quietly. But it was really funny because I was very young at the time, and I could hear them out in the hall. They all wanted the man teacher across the hall, and they'd get me, and they'd be out in the hall. Oh, we got old lady Tribbett. Old lady Tribbett was 26.
That's pretty funny.
That's pretty long time ago too. Anyway, by the end of the year, they'd say, "Oh, Mrs. Tribbett, we're so glad we have you. Mr. Miller's class doesn't do anything." We had a lot of fun.
All right, and then another question from Celine. Have any of the authors corroborated on a book or books? No, we haven't. That's an interesting. Here, I will do my interesting idea. That would be fun, actually. I wonder what we could come up with.
Co-writing situation.
We have a lot of children's authors. Yeah, pretty much all children's authors on here. And we could do like a sci-fi children's, oh, that'd be fun. There's something for you guys if you have nothing else better to do. Like a sci-fi children's book. Or like a mystery thing. You could come up with a whole new version of Scooby-Doo. Do you realize there are generations these days who have no idea who Scooby-Doo is?
What?
Isn't that just crazy? I mean,
Well, you should have heard the conversation when my second grade grandchild called up one Sunday morning and wanted to know how many hours I got to watch TV when I was her age. It's apparently some project for school. And then you start trying to explain, no, we didn't have a TV, we didn't have a computer, we didn't have phones, we got in the, well, what if you needed help when you were away from home? How did you call somebody? I'm in your shoe.
uh-huh.
Well, what's a phone booth?
Uh-huh. And I saw on Facebook, who all remembers here that there was a phone number to dial that would tell you what time it is?
Yes.
Remember that?
Yep.
Chelsea, I don't think you're old enough to remember that. I don't think you're around for that.
I've had to call 411 to get like addresses before. That was a while ago, but never for the time.
Yeah,
I will say though, there is a 1-800 line you can call where it just plays Hall & Oates songs. Like 5 of them in repeat.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, I tell you, that's pretty funny. All right, so let's see. Alicia asks, been seeing a lot of short story anthologies these days. Any thought of doing a collection of all your authors? Oh my gosh, we have all sorts of fun. There you go. What do you guys think? Should we do that for like 2022, doing a short story from each of us? The Fox Pointe collection? Oh,
Sure.
that could be a
Good
whole
idea.
thing. an annual thing of, there you go. Okay, so now you guys have more homework. Wait till I spring it on everyone else. No, that would be fun. All right, so let's see, it's 10:35. We have approximately 3 more minutes for questions out there if anyone has any questions. Let's see, who haven't I picked on? Okay, we'll pick on Kim again. Okay, Kim, do you want to tell us a little bit about your new series? And actually, I will point out, okay, I put, oh, what was it? Probably about February. I wrote an email to everyone and I said, okay, the local bookstore here in town doesn't have any books about gnomes. And so I put an email out there. And 2 people got back to me within 24 hours. And matter of fact, Helen, are you doing a gnome book?
Well, I've got the idea in the start, yes.
Okay.
And
So
AJ is the other one.
Yeah,
Yes, I
so
already
Helen's-
wrote one, but I have to, I'm going to write a Christmas one and get that one out first, and then the other one will come after.
Exactly. So Kim has got 5 gnome books in a series. AJ's got 6 gnome books in a series. And Helen's got 1. So I went back to the bookstore owner and I said, okay, so you know how you want a gnome book? She goes, yeah. I said, you got 12 of them coming. Ask and ye shall receive. And so I'm really looking forward to these. And Lisa's very excited. She's thinking this is pretty awesome that she can put in a request for one subject and within a week I come back and go, okay, I got 12 books for you.
They're on the way. Just hang in there.
On the way. So
I was
all
just
right.
talking to her and she said she's already being overwhelmed by like gnome stuffed creatures and
she
that kind of
is.
thing. Mhm.
Yeah, on Facebook, you can see people are giving her gnome dolls and gnome baskets and all sorts of things. Lisa's going to be known for gnomes, is apparently it. All right, so do you guys want to touch quickly on your gnome series without giving too much away? Kim, do you want to start?
Yeah, so there are 5 books in the series. I've really only thought, other than high level, I've really only thought through the first one, which will be out for Christmas, and it's known for the holidays. And the idea is obviously all gnomes around, and they're going to be around the world. So the different ways that different cultures celebrate Christmas at gnome, at their home. So,
Oh, very good.
At their
Does-
gnome homes.
Does
Gnome
Krampus qualify as a gnome? Probably not.
no, well, sort of, but yeah. So it was actually kind of interesting doing the research for it, and just the different places around the world that these little gnomes are going to touch on, and just learning about the different variations of traditions and that kind of thing. But
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
Did you
I
find-
know.
Did you find about that? I think they're in Iowa, the town it's famous for gnomes, and every year they elect the gnomes all look like citizens in the town.
No, I can look that up.
Yeah, because I was doing some research on gnomes.
Okay,
I forgot where it is, but
Well, I hadn't seen that.
that's how they honor the people. So you go to visit the town, and it's got all these little gnome statues that actually look like different people in the town.
Oh,
very
fun,
cool.
fun.
I'll have to
Funny.
check that out. All right, AJ, do you want to tell us about your first book without giving too much away?
It will be Hearth and Gnome. It'll be about Christmas. And Bert, the gnome, is a house gnome. He protects the yard and the house.
Love it.
And then Helen, what did you come up with your first gnome book?
Mine is a garden gnome, and he's just like standing there, except things happen.
Hmm.
So it will be good for springtime and planting your garden.
I'm gonna need a copy of that.
To get going on that.
I'm gonna need a copy of that one because my youngest daughter and my mom and me too, because I don't want to be left out. We have a big fairy garden behind the house, and so she has a bunch of plants and goes out, and there's some little gnomes and stuff. So that's perfect.
Fun.
Well, you're going to have to take pictures of your fairy garden and
Oh.
post it up on Facebook.
Can do.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Right now it's 10:40. So we're going to excuse me, Celine is going to get a book and Alicia is going to get a book because Chelsea was the other one who asked the questions and she already has the book. So there you go. But all right, again, so thank you for joining us today with the Fox Pointe, I can't even talk, Fox Talk Facebook Live March edition on a Saturday morning. And we'll get the books out. I'm Kiersten Hall. We've got Helen Holder, who's got all sorts of books coming out. AJ Sullivan, who has all sorts of books coming out. Carmen Tribbett, who has 2 more books coming out this year. Kim, who's got a lot of books coming out this year. She's going to give Helen a run for her money on how many books you can get out in 1 year. Chelsea Farr, who is literally the the queen of everything and is the project. She really is the project manager to make sure that all of us stay on track and get things done. And then myself, and then actually I forget to tell everyone that, but Brad is on the call as well. He's actually the one who makes this all possible. If Brad wasn't here, we'd all be sitting here talking to ourselves.
Say hi, Brad.
All right, and excuse me, there he is. You can find our books at what?
I think he just like hi, and then he quick muted himself.
He muted himself again. FoxPointePublishing.com. That's FOXPOINTE publishing.com, because you know we have to be fancy around here. You can find everything about all of these authors under the professional tab in the navigation bar. Or if you go to shop now, you can find all of the books, and there are some pre-order books available on there as well. Everything we have in stock right now or that has been published is also on Amazon. And we are starting to get stores and libraries that are starting to pick our stuff up because their budget freezes are disappearing and the world is opening up again. And I cannot wait. Yeah, opening up. Anyway, so I thank you very much for joining us today. We will be back on with our Fox Talk. We do typically the second and the fourth Tuesdays of every month at 6 p.m. Central. And I believe April 9th, or is it 13th? April 13th. Yes, April 13th and April 27th are the 2 Tuesdays that we'll be doing this. Then April 24th, which is the last Saturday, we'll be doing this. So I thank you very much for hanging out with us today. And Alicia and Celine, if you want to get a hold of me, or I will find you on Facebook and we'll get these books out for you on Monday. And there you go. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a fabulous day in your neighborhood. Bye.
Bye, everybody.